Let's do this. Good. Do not disturb on. All right. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hope you all are doing good today. We have a lecture planned today, but first, Emily wants to make an announcement.
Yeah, so has everyone been able to install SSMtag successfully now? No. Is everyone a no?
No, I got mine installed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so if just there's like an announcement that we posted with a Google Doc. If you could try those steps, and if they don't work, let us know and we can try to help you. I can try to help you during lecture in the back and like look at your laptop. Yeah, but anyways, if you can run the demo, you should be fine. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, here's the attendance form for the people that are on Zoom. If you're here in person, there should be a piece of paper going around soon. Emily, or Raf, could you do that? Thank you. That'll be our attendance form, just on paper for the people in person. If not, you have to click on the little link. Let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm recording and everything. I'm gonna try hiding, hide floating meeting controls there. Put this here. So announcements for today. I just want to reiterate that the new animation guide is going to be really useful for when you do your homework, just like the plotting guide is. I promise you that animation is definitely challenging. I think everybody got a sense of that last week during the lecture. It's kind of an overwhelming subject in the sense that it looks really scary, but once you kind of figure out how to do it a couple times, it's not that bad. So having a couple references on how to do different types of problems is super crucial. So please make sure you take advantage of the guide, the animation guide under resources on the B Courses website. Final projects, we're starting to really talk about them now. Hopefully everybody has gotten a chance to meet people in their group or send an email. If you haven't, we'll give you some time today to do so, but you really need to do that because in next week, I believe, yeah, it's next week, you're gonna have to submit a project proposal about like what you're gonna do. And you're going to need to work with your teammates to do that. So please, please, please start worrying about that like this weekend so that you're not freaking out about it along with an animation guide, or I mean, an animation homework, like a deadline on Tuesday. That would be kind of stressful. So please start worrying about it now and not later. As I said, the project proposals are due Friday, October 22nd. So please don't forget that date. I underlined it in red because that's my favorite color. You're gonna have to submit a PDF via LaTeX. So we're gonna talk about LaTeX today on how to do that. We're gonna go over Overleaf and whatnot. So by the end of today's lecture, everybody should be prepared to write their proposal. Hopefully you have an idea started, but it's okay if you don't yet. You don't have to stick to what you write on your project proposal, but we strongly encourage that you do that. Don't try and change the entire project a week before it's due. That'll end in a lot of pain, and we don't want to have to pull all-nighters with you to help you out. So please, you don't have to stick with it if you don't like it, but try and stick with your project proposal if you can. Cool. Is there any questions about that? Okay, cool. Make sure that there's no any chats. No, cool. Cool. So for final project proposals, you might be asking like, what do I have to have on it? It sounds like it's kind of a foreign assignment. We're going to give you some examples of what to look for or what we're looking for and kind of guidelines. But the basics is right here. It needs to have a title. It needs to have an introduction and an objective. It has to have proposed methods. So like if you want to simulate a solar system, how will you try to simulate a solar system? What are you kind of going to plan on doing? Are you going to do object-oriented programming? Are you going to try doing animation? Are you going to, what functions are you going to use? What libraries are you going to use? You need to kind of tell us what, like, that you have some sort of game plan so that you're not just like, I want to solve quantum gravity. And then like, but have no idea how to do that. That would be kind of crazy. So make sure it's reasonable. Give us an expected outcome or deliverable. Like, what do you expect to give us at the end of your project? And then a list of references. If you read any research papers, if you look at any websites for inspiration or whatnot, references are needed on your proposal. And we want it to be roughly 2 pages LaTeX. So I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I think it's fine. Roughly 2 pages. It doesn't have to be a full 2 pages. It could be a little less than that. It could be a little more than that, whatever you want. But yeah, just make sure that it's aim for 2 pages. I'm gonna close that door really quick. Cool. So today's lecture, I said it a couple times, but we're gonna talk about LaTeX and we're gonna learn how to use it. But before I do that, I have to say what LaTeX is. It's a typesetting language to help make your life easier. It'll be a little tricky at first, but it's not nearly as difficult as Python, so don't be afraid. It is kind of a coding language, but the extent of like how complicated it gets is like backslash paragraph. If you want to write a paragraph, it's not too deep. It makes like your writing so much better looking, in my opinion. It looks really nice, especially when you have to write equations. It's kind of the reason why scientists use LaTeX like religiously. It's much better than Word. Yeah, it makes writing fast and easy. There's a little bit of learning curve, but once you get it, it's pretty nice. I included this plot that I found. It's not really scientific by any means, but it's a good like kind of heuristic idea of how LaTeX is compared to like Word, for example. You probably have used Microsoft Word or like Google Docs exclusively your entire life. And that's great for like doing things like writing letters, maybe like articles where there's not much equations and typesetting in that form. But as soon as you start getting into more complex documents, say like research papers, hopefully if you are interested in going to graduate school, you'll end up writing research papers on whatever science topic you want to do. If that's the case, there's probably going to be equations and a lot of formatting. And you'll see LaTeX definitely begins to be way more powerful as you move to the more complex things. If you want to go to grad school, get a PhD, a thesis, it's going to be really important there. And for the very few of you who might decide you want to write a textbook for some reason, that'll be good. In fact, I could show you an example of some grad student who like LaTex's notes in class instead of writing them, and he literally like made a textbook. Like for example, this is like some student, a graduate student by the name of Jacob Pilawa. He's amazing. He teaches Astro C10. But like this is his notes that he does like in lecture when he types. He has like a whole like list like table of contents, and like he can do this like on the fly. When you practice a lot, you get to like write genuine. He like wrote a textbook for his class. That goes on and on and on and on for like hundreds of pages. I don't even know how this could be that much material in a class, but regardless, LaTeX. What? Oh, this is a graduate course. Don't worry, you're not going to see that until you go to grad school if you want to. Don't worry. That's like big scary equations. That's another day. That's another day. But regardless, like if you practice it a lot, you can get so fast that you can. If you're a fast typer, you can actually like write your notes in LaTeX. You can do your homeworks in LaTeX. And I don't know if this is true, but I think it might be true. I have a feeling that when a grader comes across a LaTeX homework, they're like almost instantly have a more positive attitude because it looks nicer. They don't have to decipher chicken scratch handwriting. So, you know, nice pro tip. I'm just saying. Uh-oh. Whoa. It like, okay. Cool. That was scary. Hopefully everybody can see this still. Can everybody on the Zoom still see and it's recording? Yeah. Comment in the chat if you could see the slides. Good. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. We love those technical difficulties. Yeah, so anyway, that's a little spiel about LaTeX. And today specifically, we're going to talk about a little thing called Overleaf. Think like Google Docs, but better for LaTeX. It's like it's a very similar thing where you can collaborate with people and work on it. It's really nice. It's going to definitely, LaTeX is more code-like, but it's definitely a lot easier than Python. And I think the best way is to just kind of do it. If you don't have internet, I'm sorry. You don't have to follow along right away, but I mean, you're going to get plenty of practice with this later. So, and LaTeX is one of the most, or LaTeX and Overleaf is like one of the most documented things I could think of. So it's not really hard to Google it when you have internet somewhere else. Yeah, Overleaf is an online LaTeX editor. And This is their logo. We'll talk about it in a little bit. So I guess let's start. Oh, yeah.
Is it common? Is it uncommon to use like Google for the big meaty chunks and then use Overleaf for all the formatting and copy paste over? Or
I mean, you could do that.
there's very common places to type it all in the terminal.
So you don't really do it in a terminal. So the way we use Overleaf, yeah. So I'll give you kind of a we'll do like we'll do a little demo of Overleaf. I mean, I just want to show you like what the website kind of looks like. It looks like this. You have like access to all your different like projects or your whatever, like whatever you're writing. So for example, I don't even know what this is. This is a project. You click on it and you'll have a bunch of stuff that we'll walk through in a minute, but it should, oh, did I pick like a really big one to load? No, yeah. So like you put like, look at, oh, this is private, I think. Well, that we're not going to look at that one. We'll look at something a little less important. Here, we'll look at a template. There we go. Yeah, here's like a nice little unfilled out template. Regardless, you have like kind of your document and you'll have like kind of like code that you type in that changes the document as you go along. So we'll talk more about this later, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it visually looks like. And multiple people can edit over here, and it kind of works like Google Docs in that sense. But you can see I can type just fine in here. So it kind of wouldn't really like, yes, you could just copy and paste from Google Docs over to this if it's easier for you that way. But honestly, it's collaborative anyway, and you can typically just type, and it's not like super burdened in equation writing. You can literally just write paragraphs and whatnot.
Is it common for like the local people are using Overleaf? Will it like the recompile of it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and it doesn't recompile like all the time. So
Yeah, me and a guy did it exactly.
Yeah, you could run into issues that way, and it can happen, but I don't think you'll ever like completely break the entire website. Like it's a bit more robust than that. It might give you like it might give you a big old red error and say something's broken, fix it. But that's about it. It's not going to crash on you in that sense. But yeah, so we'll get back to the Overleaf in just a minute. There's a whole bunch of links I want to share with you first before we actually start doing things. Overleaf is really well documented. So if you click on, once I upload the slides, if you click on this link, aka Overleaf/learn, they have like an entire 30-minute guide to teach you like all the basics of LaTeX. You can go through it, just read it. There's like all sorts of links on how to do like creating your first document, doing paragraphs and lists and math and like all sorts of good stuff. For example, if I want to learn how to put math in my document, I have all these different examples and introductions, and it kind of shows you what you need to write in code and what it'll translate to on the like in text. So like this corresponds to this, and you can play around with copying code and like or LaTeX code and seeing how it affects your documents. You can do like multiple line equations, put them like bullet points. You can do you can put equations inside of text. You can put them on their own lines. You can number your equations. You could display it. In fact, there's so many things that I probably won't be able to cover much of it at all in just 1 hour. This is more of something that you're going to kind of have to do on your own and explore. But I'll give you like the utmost basics of like how you just like start a project, and then you can like fill in the details and come to office hours and whatnot if you have questions. But all the information that I'm going to be able to tell you is going to be on this website anyway. So this is like a really good tutorial place, and I highly encourage you to come on this link and just like look through it for 30 minutes and learn how to do all this good stuff. There's like a whole bunch of like variables and whatnot. We'll talk more about how to put math like in demo time. But regardless, there's this entire introduction, how to learn LaTeX in 30 minutes that gives you through like an entire creation process and whatnot. So it's very, very helpful to do that. There's also Google, which is super helpful. But now I think it's important to actually start like a little bit of a LaTeX demo. So I guess the best way to do this would be, we'll just go start on new on Overleaf. And we'll just start like a new project. So whenever you want to start like a new document on Overleaf, you can go to new project, and you can either start with a blank template with like nothing and just like the very bare bones minimum, or you can start from a pre-existing template. So we'll just open up a blank project, for example, fall 2021 DeCal Overleaf. Create that. It'll look something like this. Oh, that's fun. It'll look something like this. I think it doesn't like the underscores. We'll get rid of those. Just give me 1 sec. All right, and we'll recompile it. There we go. So it'll look like that. Just kind of like the very, very bare minimum to what you want to write. So let's just start with a couple things. You have all this kind of text up here, this like document class, article, use package, all that stuff is what we call the preamble. If you ever want to, you can like import packages like we do in Python. Like if you want to use like a specific library in Python to do like a sine or a cosine function, instead of coding it up yourself, you just do like import numpy or import math or whatever. There's very similar style with Overleaf. Let's say you want a specific format or like script character that's like ancient Greek or like ancient Old English, you know, like B. I want to have like a nice script old B or whatever. You can import a package that gives you those list of characters, because they don't just incorporate that on like on the fly. You might need to incorporate that. Or if you want to have a lot of math packages, you can use different math packages and whatnot to make nice equations. Yeah, so then, I mean, every document should have a title, you know, authors and dates and whatnot. This is kind of like header information, not super important. This will often be like, most of the time you will start with like a pre-existing template, and you won't really need to do all of this like from scratch. You'll just kind of like fill in the blanks. So if I started with a template, I would go, oh, okay, author. Well, I don't like the way that's written. Maybe I can do like James Sunseri, and I can actually add multiple authors like Elon, Ma, Emily, Ma, Raphael, Bear, Way, and we could do I love lights. All the instructors, and those are like a list of authors, right? Like this is kind of like fill in the blanks type of things, and it'll be even more apparent when we actually go to like work on like a real template that somebody's made for you to use. And then you always have like a begin document statement. / begin document allows you to start creating your document. And then in like we have like a make title statement. It's not super important. It's kind of like just already there. But what is important is like sections. So you like whenever you want to have like a nice section like what we have here with introduction, you do like / section, for example. And then whatever you put in your curly brackets is the title for that section. And we could do multiple sections. We could do like another section called like testing, I don't know. And if we recompile it, it'll add a new section, and we can write inside of it, right? We could do like / paragraph, and we can start writing something like hello world. I don't know what I'm typing. And if we run that, there starts to be text in our section, and you can do lots of cool stuff. You can even do like equations. So if you want, like, this is all going to be like in that Overleaf learn thing. So I'm not going to really take the time to like start from the ground up of every single command. It's more like, how do I write an equation? Google, how do I write an equation in LaTeX? And it'll give you a whole paragraph on how to do it. You just copy and paste code. And these are things you just pick up. So when you see it over and over again. So don't worry if you don't know like how I came up with these commands or whatever. They're just Googleable. You can find them. But like if I want to write an equation, I could do like begin equation and end equation. Like it's kind of like you have to have a start and an end to like whatever your equation is. And then inside we enter math mode, and you could do like y is equal to mx plus b, for example. And now we have like a numbered equation. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. We have like a y equals mx plus b equation. really nice. We can have more of them. We could do a whole nother equation, right? Maybe you want to include some cool stuff like we could do something like beta is equal to something 1 over alpha. I don't know. And you have like a nice little, like you can do like Greek letters really nicely, and it looks really formatted, pretty and stuff. And you can like kind of have like logical flows line by line, and it looks really nice. It's really easy to follow. I highly encourage you to do it on your homeworks in the future.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like how like, and obviously at first it took a long time to get the hang of it. How big of a hit on your homework time?
Well, at first,
Initially,
yeah. At first, I would say it takes about another hour to 2 hours, like the very first time you do it. But once you have kind of like a template or a flow that you use reliably, and you know how your style works, then it just becomes a matter of copying and pasting and then changing equations, and then it becomes really quick and looks really nice. So I highly encourage it if you are curious about doing it. It does. I think it makes a big impact on the grader who reads it. Puts them in a lot better mood when they don't have to read through sloppy text. Is there any questions? Okay. Regardless, you could do lots of text and fun stuff. But this is all great and all, but typically I don't like starting from scratch. That's a lot of work, especially if you want to format it and look nice. So I propose a much better thing to do. Instead of going, like when we make a new project, I actually like to go to templates. So these are a whole bunch of templates to do whatever you may want to do. For example, let's say I want to write a homework assignment. I have a bunch of different like templates that people have made, generalized templates that I can find to like change to my liking and kind of like start from and build up upon. So I don't know, let's find one that looks nice. Maybe I could do like a 2-column one, but that's in a different language and I can't read that. Maybe let's start with this one. This one looks nice and easy. So this is just somebody's like computer science template or whatever, but we can use it. So we can open it as a template in Overleaf. And next thing you know, I have access to this entire document, and I can just basically pick and pull and add a bunch of stuff. Now you'll see when I said like that, like beginning like document, class, article, whatever, the preamble, it was like really basic with the other document. It's definitely a lot more now. There's like a whole bunch of packages that this relies on. And I don't know about you, but I certainly don't want to take the time to look up what everything in that package does. But I know if they need it for this one or for this like document, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to change it. Maybe if I need another thing, I can add one. But these are like a whole bunch of little settings that they can like fine tune. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that I honestly I wouldn't even bother changing any of this. I would just scroll down to where I find things on the document, like net ID 19823. That looks like it's this one. Like, check it out. And it'll probably change if I recompile it. Yeah. Ah, cool. And I can like, oh, let's see. Yeah. What is this? Let's see. Problem 1. That we'll keep that the same, but it looks like answer to problem goes here. Oh, that looks like that's where that's at. And I see, oh wow, they're doing like 1, 2, 3. I could do like begin enumerate, and that looks like it makes like a enumerated list. Cool. Problem 1, part 1 here. Problem 1, part 2 here. It's like it kind of makes sense. You can just kind of fill in the blanks. You might be like, oh wow, that's a really crazy equation. I wonder how I do that. You Google how to do conditional equation, and it'll pop up like a bunch of text for you or a bunch of like references on how to make that. Kind of that's how I LaTeX. I kind of just find a template that looks pretty, and then I fill it in according to my needs. And oftentimes you learn a lot about like how to do things in LaTeX by seeing other people do it for you. And there's a pretty cat. I didn't see that there. I don't know why that would be on somebody's homework assignment, but it's nice. But yeah, so like here's just a good example of like starting like a document. You can also change the title. Up here is the title. So testing. And now if I search for it somewhere in here, cool. I don't know where it went. I guess I didn't save it or whatever. But that'll be like one of your projects, and you can reference it later. Here's another example of somebody's homework assignment that I used to learn how to do LaTeX. This is like one for the CS department as well. And it has like a definitely different looking style, like completely different. Yeah, this looks a lot like a CS department class stuff. For those of you who have taken CS stuff, gross. But nonetheless, if you wanted it to look like this, you can use this as your template. This is just another person's template that they found that I happen to like how it looks, but I don't use this one, but that's just an example. And eventually someday, or I guess I can show you what our a Python decal template for the like curriculum is. Boom. Like this is a whole template that we just found on the internet and started using. And then we like fit it to our needs. So like we have like, this is from 2020, way back when we had a different advisor and whatnot. But as you can see, like, it's really just a matter of filling in the blanks and like Googling when you want to know how to do something. And you can make like all this cool stuff. But I don't know, this looks a lot better than Word in my opinion. And I know for a fact, typing equations in Word is like agonizing and awful. And it's not fun, but it's a lot more simple in LaTeX in my opinion. But regardless, if you want to start a new project, I highly recommend using templates. We're going to do this probably in a week or two or a couple weeks when we have you write your own curriculum vitae or CVs for short, also known as a resume, but a little different. Y'all are all going to have to do that, and you're going to find templates that look nice and whatever, and you'll be able to write your own CVs. Oh, I need to charge my give me 1 sec. Cool. So with that being said, yeah, these are just some useful packages. If you ever want to like find like a symbol on and you don't know how to like what it's called or whatever, but you know you want to use that symbol, you can draw it with this website. If you go to this website, for example, you can like draw, say, I don't know what this Greek letter is. I hope you learn what it is because it's in every physics class, I think. And it'll give you a whole bunch of like reference on what it is, whatever. This is called Detechify. Very useful. Maybe you want to know how to put like the symbol for like solar mass or whatever. Astro Sun from this package. It gives you the package it's from and the command you use to use it. These are all really useful tools that we put here for you. And then if you're ever really bored, I don't know why you would ever be this bored, but you can actually do like a timed LaTeX game where you're like, yo, Elon is the one who showed us how to do, or showed me this. But yeah, you could be like, you can actually type it out and I don't know how to do that. So I'm just gonna, off the top of the head, so I'm just gonna pretend whatever. We're gonna just quit that for now. But if you're curious, you can Google it and it'll build your knowledge. And you'll be able to actually type those out in lectures if you are like really quick with typing. I have the typing speed of a small child, so I can't do that. But regardless, very useful. And then of course, Google is your best friend forever and always. But yeah, is there any questions about that? I know it's kind of like not like starting from the very grounds up or anything, but really LaTeX and Overleaf is just something you Google how to use, not really like, it's hard for somebody to just like explain it to you. There's so much, there's like so many different things. Like if you want to do a different like niche equation, you need like one command from one library. It's just like, there's no point in trying to like learn the overall structure like there is in Python. But yeah, is there any questions? Cool. Yeah, so again, why do we care about LaTeX in this class? This is a coding class. And the reason for that is obviously that you have to write your project proposals in LaTeX. But also, if you want to go into the sciences, you're going to have to write anything in LaTeX. That's going to be research papers. That's going to be, hopefully you'll have, by the end of this class, you'll have a curriculum vitae that you'll be able to show to postdocs and professors that you want to join their research groups. You can hand them this paper that's like really nicely LaTeX, and they'll be like, ah, a person of class. And then they'll actually like probably read it instead of just saying, ew, this is done on Microsoft Word. So it's important to have a good first impression in academia or wherever, So being able to LaTeX is really important, especially if you want to LaTeX your homeworks. They kind of help you in that sense as well. You have a question?
What on my resume can I make it look like, like that guy did like that, like stop, like
Yeah. So
line or something, like why is that line?
I think just in general, the font is like really like they don't have that on Word. You have to like go spend a lot of time getting a custom font, which I did because I was naive and I didn't want to learn how to learn LaTeX, but then I spent 30 minutes on Google and I was like, oh, this is not that bad. But we'll talk more about how to make a CV in I think 2 weeks time, or maybe 2 or 3 weeks time. It'll be like week 11, I think. We will, everybody, your homework assignment will be to write your own curriculum vitae. We'll give you lots of templates. Everybody in this, all the facilitators have templates. You know, other undergraduate students have templates. We'll be able to show you what they look like. You'll be able to pick a template that you like. You'll know. There's a very, I don't know, it just always looks better. And project proposals. So now that we're done talking about like LaTeX and Overleaf, it's a super useful tool. Oh, I guess I didn't tell you how to share documents really quick. Before we move on, let me go back to Overleaf. So let's say, let's say where is something that's not confidential? Let's say, let's go back to this DeCal syllabus. So a couple things really quick. If you want to share it with somebody to work on collaboratively, for example, this is Elon's email. You can always just add people's emails. This isn't Elon shared this with me, so I can't add people to it. But if you create your own document, you can add people to edit it and work on it simultaneously. For example, Raphael and I had a bunch of undergraduate courses together. And anytime we had to write up like a lab write-up together, we would collaborate on Overleaf. And it would look really, really nice for lab write-ups. And so that's like under the share button. If you're ever writing for like a journal, say maybe it's like the Astronomical Society or the American Astronomical Society, the Royal Union or whatever of astrophysics, physics review letters, then you can also submit your paper. I'm not going to actually do that because this is not a publication, but you can submit it to a journal and they can accept your document and modify it and make comments on it for you. So those are important factors when you are going to be when you start writing your proposals. You're going to have to work on it together. So knowing how to share a document on Overleaf is important. You just click on the share and share with their email. Okay, so project proposals. Let's talk about what we expect. Let's go here. So on B courses, don't worry, you don't have to open these up. These will be available for you later. I mean, they're already there, but if you don't have internet, don't worry. They're under final project resources on the files tab of B courses. We have proposal recommendations and a proposal template for you that you can kind of look at and reference. So this is a very bare bones template, but it has like a title, your name, like all the name of the people in your group, your email addresses. For example, we have like an objective, describe like what you intend to do there. Like what is the main goal of your project? You have a rationale, right? Like why is the project important to you as well as others? This isn't necessarily like super crucial to have this structure. It's just a reference if you want to do it like this. What's your approach going to be? What are the methods you're going to use? Like a timeline, if you have a proposed timeline, possible issues that you might come across. This is just like you can fill in like kind of what these paragraphs are telling you to fill in. We also have oh man, where did it go? Sad. Oh well, we'll see if this will. Proposal recommendations. This was written a long time ago, but it all still applies, all the information. So we're gonna write like for example, we want you to see like a title, some sections and subsections, most likely, at least one equation that's relevant to your project. We're all in the physical sciences, so there should be an equation that describes what you're doing. Hopefully it's like something in physics or astrophysics or whatever it is you're interested in, math even. But there should be some sort of equation or equations that you're going to use. maybe like a table. These are not like super rigorous. You don't actually have to have each and every one of these bullet points, but like use them as guidelines. We kind of like look for these things. A figure, we would like to see like a figure. Probably don't do an astro meme, but if you don't have a figure, you can do an astro meme. We're not mad about that if you do. Yeah, and like try to have like a table, maybe like a table for like your time, like your schedule, like what is your proposed timeline? Are you gonna work on it all in the last week, or are you gonna space it out? FYI, you should space it out. Yeah, and then it's just got some like basic stuff. This is not super important what's down here, but regardless, you can look at these, read them, to get a sense of what we're looking at or looking for. But yeah, so you're definitely gonna have to use Overleaf to latex up your project proposals. Is there any questions?
Just wondering, so are those? They're not first.
Yeah, no, unfortunately you can't just open them in Overleaf. But again, if you don't know how to start a document, just go right on to new projects, and there's like presentation, there's poster. You could pick from any one of these. Perhaps like I encourage you to look at all of them, but like maybe let's do, I don't know, you could do like a presentation. Maybe we could look at like presentations. No, that's not right. We want like, yeah, maybe like a homework or like project or lab report. You could do something like this. I don't know. You can like look around all these different templates. There's tons of them to choose from. Maybe you could do like, I guess homework assignment. Yeah. Maybe pick one from here and just kind of have all these like sections and subsections. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you could always start from scratch and just like Google how to do it. But that's going to be up to you. There is no like set in stone, like specific format that you have to use. We actually encourage you to kind of explore and make it look like how your group wants it to. Of course, it just has to have like the substance that is like necessary. So like title, your objectives, your methodology, how you're going to do it, maybe a timeline, and like your goals, for example. But we just want to get a sense that you know what you're going to do and you know how you're going to start it. Does that make sense? Cool. So with the remaining time, we have like 8 minutes. I encourage you all to like find people that are in your groups in lecture and go talk to them and start brainstorming. Yeah, that's all I had for y'all today. So feel free to go chat with amongst yourselves and yeah, start thinking about your project proposals and maybe even start up an Overleaf if you can. And then I don't think I had anything left. Yeah.
It just doesn't sync.
I don't think it syncs. I think it's the same thing as like Google Docs. Like you can work offline, but it doesn't sync. Yeah.
Hi, did you get my email by any chance?
What's your name again? Sorry, Kyle.
Matthias.
Matthias. Oh yeah.
Attendance.
Yeah.
Week?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry
And then also, I don't have a group.
Oh.
I filled out the form, but I was on
Okay.
Zoom lecture all week, all like week and a half, so I never really got a chance.
Okay. Yeah. Let me it's
I heard Dylan has like no one in there. I don't really know who Dylan is, but
yeah, let me wait a minute. So we recently released a
I did see that.
the like
Who's
Google
Matthias?
Sheets.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yeah, who's Matthias? Oh, I'm Matthias.
That's Matthias.
Well, I'm Matthias.
Matthias. I think we added you to
Oh.
yeah, I think you're in Nick and Yue, I believe is her name.
Where's the list? Can I access it?
I think it's under announcements.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to call you? 1 second. He's over there. I'll be over there in a second.
All project groups. Yeah, I think it's this sheet. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
I should share it for everybody in case people forget, but I believe we added you to yeah, Nick and Yue.
Are Ellie and Eduardo on stage today?
That's a good question. Let me check.
I don't know what they look
Ours
like.
is like a week and a half.
Is there anybody in this call? No, it's just Calvin.
this is the only class we can have Zoom in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. At
I think
least
supposed to have that option for everyone.
Oh,
I don't know. Like they're just supposed to have some sort of option for you to catch up. So that could be like recorded or whatever. I don't know if we're gonna do Zoom again next semester.
Yeah, they said
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of like do it because like the attendance is such a chaotic thing,
Yeah,
and like having to remember for every office hour and like
yeah.
just I don't know. It would just be nice to not have to worry about technical and internet. Internet's always a real pain in the butt. But yeah. Did you have any other questions or?
But they're not on Zoom.
Yeah, no, they're not on Zoom. Sorry, I didn't say that. Yeah, yeah. Also, if you do want to like, if you have like a specific group that you have a preference with working in, you can also let us know and you can switch groups.
Yeah, so I didn't know quantum was on the list. Actually.
Would you like to work?
Yeah, I just was talking with Angela. She said that Dylan was working on quantum, and I'm taking quantum right now.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
If
actually
you
think that would be kind of better.
would you rather we can move you there?
Yeah.
There. Yeah. 4 is the max, and I think there's only 2 people there, so that's cool.
Yeah. Is
Oh,
that cool?
Yeah, we can move you there.
Oh, sorry, I'm moving to quantum.
Yeah, I'm moving him to quantum because he wants to do quantum stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about the. Yeah.
Sorry.
You have a question?
Yes, I was wondering if I could move into Eve's group.
Eve's group.
Yeah.
How many
Eve Mango.
people? Yeah.
There's 3 people.
Okay. Let's see. Eve, what is their group doing? They're doing Astra Sims. You want to work with Claire, Josh, and Eve?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was your name and email?
Sophia, Sofia.
Sophia.
With an F.
Oh, Sofia.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then SD8899.
and how many people were in the group that you previously had?
4.
Okay, so yeah, that's fine. As long as they're not leaving somebody by themselves. Cool. All right, so you'll be in their group.
All right. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Yeah, and then Matthias needs. You're good. And Matthias wants to go into the quantum group. Where's Matthias? How do you spell your name? Is it 2 T's or 1 T? 1 T. Oh, nice. Cool. Cool. All right. I wish I could share them all, but cool. And then we'll stop recording.